Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And this Saturday, on January 11th, people throughout our country here, people throughout the world, will be observing Human Trafficking Awareness Day. The start of this new year, I think, is a fitting time to focus on the shameful fact that human slavery is not a relic of ancient history, that in fact it's with us today. It's a brutal reality, a reality faced by more than 20 million victims around the world, many of them trafficked for labor, but increasingly for underage girls, for young women. This is a case where they are exploited in this trafficking as well. Even in my work as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've learned that human trafficking is no longer just a problem over there. It is a problem in our communities here. It is a problem in developing economies, but also it's a problem in the United States and in Europe. It's a scourge even in the communities that we serve here and that we represent. In my own community in the last 2 years, the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force has assisted 250 victims. 93% were women, most of them underage, 80 of them from foreign countries. At our November field hearing in Fullerton, the Orange County District Attorney testified that shockingly, when we're speaking now about sexual trafficking, shockingly, the average age of a child being trafficked in this country is 12 years of age. A little girl who has not even reached her teens. We also heard from one brave survivor, Angela Guanzon, who was trafficked from the Philippines into forced labor in Long Beach, California. I've heard many other stories from the members of the Human Trafficking Congressional Advisory Committee that I established last year in my Los Angeles County District office. The forum for communicating on trafficking between law enforcement, advocates, service organizations, and survivors has contributed profoundly to my own knowledge, my own understanding of this issue, and I encourage my colleagues to get to know those on the front lines of the fight against human trafficking, get to know them in their districts and know of their work, and you're going to be informed, challenged, and inspired by what you learn. This January, designated as National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, is a perfect time to shine a spotlight on the dark issue of trafficking. But awareness is only a first step. More needs to be done. And to that end, I would urge my colleagues to join me in co-sponsoring H.R. 3344, the Fraudulent Overseas Recruitment and Trafficking Elimination Act, to combat one critical form of reoccurring abuse. And namely, that is unscrupulous recruiters. By targeting the recruiters, we can do a lot. These recruiters who bait foreigners to travel to the United States with promises of good jobs, but trap them in sexual exploitation or forced labor once they arrive. For example, in my home county, the Salvation Army's network of emergency trafficking services reports that a full one-third of their clients, 33% of their clients, were recruited in a foreign country by a labor recruiter. They got here and found it was a very different job than the one they enlisted for. This represents not only an assault on the dignity of the victim, but also a subversion of United States labor laws and our non-immigrant visa system. And in response, this legislation requires that prospective foreign workers be given accurate information about the terms of employment and be given anti-trafficking protections against U.S. laws. It prohibits recruitment fees or hidden charges used as coercive leverage against workers. In other words, once you get here to the United States, you can't find out afterwards because they didn't disclose to you that there are fees that you owe. Those fees are no longer allowed. Up front, the employer pays those fees. Requires foreign labor recruiters to register and remain in good standing with the Department of Labor, and it provides new incentives and enforcement mechanisms to ensure that recruiters and employers follow these disclosure and registration requirements. Members may contact the Foreign Affairs Committee to join this important anti-traffic initiative. I encourage you all to sign on to my legislation. And as people of goodwill around the world observe Human Trafficking Awareness Day this weekend, let us move beyond mere awareness. Let us abolish this injustice and protect and restore the dignity of those who have survived such exploitation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.